Oh, hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Ooh. Oh, man. I tell you, all things come to those who wait, right? Hey, Black Queen, thank you so much for being here. Manello, Carol Lunn, Lydia Washington, Fancy Fancy, Annie Bullard, Connie Bomber. Hey, Connie Bomber. Let's see, Carolyn Sowers, Lady Bird, Elaine Parker. Let me see here. Let me see. Oh, okay. Emerald Derrick, Ladybird, Panther 325. Yes. Iris Woods. Okay. Brenda Phillips. Thank you so much for being here. Lola. Okay. Let me get some slides up here. So, did anything interesting happen today? Did they finally figure out why does the iron have a permapress setting? How about that one? Did anybody figure out why you send a shipment on a truck and a cargo on the ship? How come we never send cargoes on trucks and a shipment on a ship? As a matter of fact, what is a cargo? Okay, well, if there's nothing interesting going on, then thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex, and I will see you all tomorrow. How about that? Wait, what is that I just heard? Did I just hear a shoe drop? Wait. I heard something splatter. Did something hit the fan? Ah! Oh, man. Well, I I shouldn't get too excited. I mean, after all, it's only Harry's day in court. That's all. Harry is going to take the stand, as they say. Harry is going to take the stand. And it's not like stuff like this doesn't happen all the time. I mean, people take a witness stand all of the time. Not sometime, but anyway. So if you haven't heard already, the People's Prince, Prince Harry, is actually going to have a day in court. Harry Charles Albert David Mountbatten-Windsor is going to have a real David and Goliath type of situation because let's just face it, Harry is not only going to court against one of those tabloid rags. Uh-oh, sorry about that. My microphone is wow, what is that thing doing? Okay. Harry is not only going to court against one of those tabloid rags, but I know, Black Queen, I got to stop trying to drag this out. But the thing is, this is like the last time something like this almost happened. It had to do with Mummy's butler, but not nearly as big as this. Although Mommy's butler situation was pretty tacky, but not nearly as big as this one. This is like, well, okay, let's just go here. So this was in the byline today, and you know what? I haven't even looked at any of the rags. Are the rags talking about this too? Um, are they pretending like the only news in the world is Megan went to lunch and helped a bunch of, I guess, pregnant mothers at a shelter or aid society or something? Maybe that's the only news of the day. Well, anyway, so it turns out that there is going to be a day in court for the Duke of Sussex, and it's got to do with all of that stuff. Wow, I'm looking at I'm scrolling through the fail, and they're not even talking about it. Is Harry sabotaging the king's plan for a slim down monarchy? Really? That's it? There's nothing else happening today with Harry? Wow. I mean, to tell you, they're not even, I don't see anything. At least I don't see anything. Oh, well. So that's enough of the fail. Let me close that out and move on to more pressing matters. Okay. So, oh, whose birthday today? Francilia Mosley. Happy birthday. Many happy returns of the day. The first senior British royal to ever enter the witness box in the High Court will allege Piers Morgan oversaw a conspiracy of newsroom criminality at the Daily Mirror, reveals Dan Evans. Number one, or there you go, I'll just say Prince Harry will take aim at Piers Morgan in person from the witness box. In doing so, makes legal history in a landmark civil trial. Piers Morgan is accused of overseeing and approving industrial scale criminal news gathering when he edited the Daily Mirror between 1995 and 2004. He is also said to be involved in a boardroom level cover up of newsroom crimes from police and shareholders, which the publisher denies. And that's very important. The publishers deny this. I mean, what else do you do when something like this comes up, right? Okay. And Harry will claim Morgan's Mirror, that's the Daily Mirror newspaper, targeted him with illegal private investigators and phone hacking from the age of just 12, while Morgan has missed a deadline to defend himself with a swarm of statements and looks unlikely to enter the witness box himself, while five claimants go to legal battle on behalf of potentially thousands more to resist publishers' bid to time limit lawsuit on technicalities. So, what do you say about that? Leg says Daily Mail not reporting any protests, booing, rude horses. Yeah, there's a big protest in central London right now, right? I mean, there are thousands of people, and I couldn't find any good photos of it to share. So I will talk about that tomorrow, um, most likely. But yeah, there's like, because when I saw the video, I'm like, how could that be today if nobody's talking about it? But I saw like an overhead video. I don't know if it was a helicopter or a drone, but I mean, tens of thousands of people, it appear, are streaming through the streets of London. And I believe yesterday there was a big protest gathering at the Trafalgar Square. So interesting times for the UK. Wow. Thank you so much, Legs, for sharing that. And thank you so much for the super chat. Prince Harry to appear in person in phone hacking court case as Teflon Pierce, we'll see about that, faces both barrels. We'll see about that. Let's see. Yes, go Prince Harry. Prince Harry ain't playing, y'all. Prince Harry ain't playing. And it's very interesting how this has all played out. As a matter of fact, let me find that before I forget it. Let me just put it up here because I don't want to forget to talk about this. So I am going to put this over here and just, okay. And then I have another screen open so I can see everything that you guys are seeing. There we go. Piers Morgan going after Hugh Grant at the Oscars. I did not notice that. Let me see if I can highlight your comment. Okay. Baron, did you notice Piers Morgan going after Hugh Grant at the Oscars? Hugh is, of course, suing them along with Harry. Very true, Lady Bird. Hugh Grant, Elton John, I believe, oh gosh, what is her name? The model. Is it Elizabeth Hurley? And the mom of the kid that was killed. Isn't she in the House of Lords now? Or I'm sorry, in the House of Commons? But anyway, Yes, that woman of African descent. Her son was murdered by the gang. Anyway, I believe I think she had took a meeting somewhere, and I forget which paper was it. Was it the Fail? She had took a meeting somewhere, and they had like bugged the restaurant or something allegedly. But even her, I mean, it's incredible that they thought it was okay to do these things. Can't wait. Pierce said he would like to face Harry and Meghan in court. Well, well, well. Number 10, you get a bail for that. Yes, well, well, well. He got his wishes, didn't he? Why is he not appearing in person then? You got that right. It is what he said. He wanted to face them. Well, this is your opportunity, you big hog head. Oh man, it just doesn't get well, it will get better because as you guys know, Harry is a very credible speaker. Harry has a great deal of sincerity and honesty when he speaks. He doesn't play around with it. So I think he's going to do very well in a court of law. So um, we'll see Harry at the Old Bailey. Is it the Old Bailey? I never knew why they called it the Old Bailey. Um, but yes, won't you come home, Bill Bailey? Won't you come home? Beverly McCaskill says, just finished watching the Commonwealth service from the other day, and it just didn't seem like the same. Didn't look as crowded inside the church either. Well, Beverly, did you hear that horrendous rendition of God Save the King? It was awful. It sounded like they tried to fiddle with it to make it more personal to Charles, but it was a disaster. I am not a musician. I do not have a trained ear, as they say, but it sounded horrific. I listened to it and I was like, what the? I mean, because, no matter how you felt about the royal family, when they would do God Save the Queen and they would do the fanfare and everything, oh, it was amazing. I mean, the way the sound filled the hall. Well, I have to tell you, that uh, thing the other day, when I heard it, I was just like, is it just me or does that sound terrible? It was like, I promise you, during the fanfare, one of the trumpeters blew a note. I mean, just ruined it. So it was lacking so many things. You could not even qualify it just by saying it was bad. It was lacking too much. Joanne Baker says, I'm just proud of Prince Harry for taking a stand. Not that he needs me or others to be proud of him. Well, you know what? It doesn't hurt. And of course, with us sending out our Sussex squad prayers, and of course, the people's princess watching over him. And I mean, he's just got so many aunties. It's incredible. So he's got a lot of aunties. A lot. Speaking of which, did I not add that one? I think I didn't add it. Uh, you know what? Let me grab that while I'm thinking about it. I'm so glad I said that. Elaine Parker, thank you so much for 18 months of membership. That is awesome. I greatly appreciate that. Thank you so much. Um, Let me see here. I'm so glad I said that with my big mouth because I totally would have missed it. Let me see. Mm-mm. Give me just a second, you all. This will be so worth it. I promise you. I'm not going to show it to you later, but I got to do this while I'm thinking of it. Otherwise, it won't get done. It won't get done, and that won't be good. I mean, not the biggest deal in the world, but I think it's just very, very cool. So I got that, and I'm going to do that, and I think we're good. I think we are so good. Let me see. Uh-huh. Give me a second, you guys. I just want to make sure it is presented properly. And thank you for reminding me because I promise you, I almost missed that. And I meant to put it out there. I mean, anybody could look at me, can tell I always put out. Okay, perfection. So that is there. And I hope I don't blow this, but let me see if I could do this right. Okay. All right. Uh, okay. All right. It's done. Thank you so much for the reminder. All right. Let's move on then, you guys, because there's more to talk about this. Let me see. Marcella, I'm sorry. Manello. There we go. Do I have it? There we go. Manello says, Baron, as soon as you finish, I'm surfing those TV channels I no longer watch just because of Prince of standing up for himself and his family against the filthy tabloids making vile money off of them. Manello, I had to change my viewing. Oh, thank you, Baroness Lawrence. Lady Bird, thank you so much for that. The other plaintiff in the case is Baroness Lawrence, which was, oh gosh, Stephen Lawrence's mother. That was his mother, or that was her son. So thank you so much for that. So as I was saying, Manello, I have been on a bit of a crusade about protecting one's mental health. And just the other day, someone had asked me about Neil Sean, and they were asking me, why I never bring him up because he confounds and frustrates me to a point where it's just not good for me. And it's not what he says that bothers me as much as his credibility is greater because he does this roving reporter man on the street in front of all of these landmarks. And I just know that people who don't know better will think that he, excuse me, is this very, and plus I know he was a reporter in the past. And I remember him from somewhere and I don't remember where. But yeah, he really jars my senses. So that's why I never talk about him. He never comes up on my feed because I have not interested and blocked so many times that the algorithm got the message. And so if people like that is coming up on your feed, then stop clicking on it and make sure you go to those three dots and whenever you can hit not interested. He never comes up and Lady C never comes up and quite a few other ones. That river person never comes up. The body language people never come up because I have made it very clear through my viewing habits and through my not interested that person is not welcome on my screen. So you just have to be persistent about that. And if you do accidentally click on it, just erase it from your history. Erase it from your history, and it won't keep popping up. So that is my suggestion. But Manello, you are very wise to take care of yourself and to make sure that you do not let those things creep in because they are habit forming and they somehow convince you that they have the answers. And after they have made you almost nauseated with fear and anxiety, somehow they deceive you into coming back the next day so that they can get you all riled up again. So I salute you for taking a stand and thank you so much for sharing that. Patricia Lane says Prince Harry is ready for war on all who tried to destroy him and his wife, Princess Meghan. He will spare no one. Go get Prince Harry, take him down. There you go. Go get him, Prince Harry, and take them down. Figuratively speaking, of course. Okay, let's continue here. So here are a few comments that some of the squatties shared. and to protect their accounts from the derangers. I just took their names out, but you may recognize your words, and now everyone will know why why Pierce didn't pursue don't pursue a year long, what is it, don't pursue a year long bullying campaign targeting Harry using Meghan as a proxy. He's afraid to go to prison. And then someone else said, sometimes I think watching Harry move and maneuver through life, the thing we can observe, if he were allowed to pursue a military career, he would have made it to general. He's a very observant and strategic man, unafraid to act when necessary. I admire him. God, that's beautiful. And of course, bravo, Harry. Morgan needs to learn that expressing an opinion is very different from denigrating and abusing a woman. There are limits, and he and no one else should not cross them. You guys, do you see why the squad is so effective? Do you see that? This is why the Sussex squad is so effective. You could not get those kind of words out of those derangers, out of those somewhat loony, crazy people that seem to think that everything about the royal family is to be treasured, is something extraordinary. Some of the most mediocre people in the world are somehow made extraordinary because of their titles. And here you have someone like Harry, who has made it known most of his, actually, if not all of his adult life, in one way or the other, he's always made it known. I don't care about those things. I just want to go to Africa and be a tour guide. And that was out of the question given his position. So he had to keep doing things, trial and error, to try to find a way to keep himself busy, to do the things that he loved, and to start a family. It is a very short story where that is concerned, but it's all the details in between that is worth an 800-page book that somehow was shortened down to 400 pages. And of course, it was worth a multiple book deal. All of it was worth it. And they thought, this is what's so funny, they thought that if we just try to tear down the book and remind people how unpopular they are in the States, that somehow everything is going to just collapse. We'll remind them that they don't get invited to parties. Oh my God, how silly. How silly, how ineffective. A waste of everybody's time, a waste of good ink, man hours, woman hours, whatever. It was a waste of time. Beverly McCaskill says Prince Harry is so ready for piss face Morgan moron. I want to see it, but I am not living in the UK. As you said, Baron, I pray that there are British squatties in the courtroom. Oh, wouldn't that be awesome? Wouldn't that be awesome? Well, let me see here. Let me continue. So right here, as you can see, on this day, 16 years ago, and I'm not sure what that this day means, but this could be like an old image that someone had shared, but I thought it was a good way to remind people visually. Following individual was sacked from the Daily Mirror after printing fake photos to smear the British soldiers in Iraq. Now, all of that fuss they made about Harry telling his truth in his book in a way that many other soldiers have done for decades, and yet somehow the media, you know how they like to tie in things, somehow they didn't make this connection to the real culprit of putting targets on the backs of soldiers. This person right here, who um, thought it was a good idea to run photos of British soldiers, and of course, these are said to have been fake photos, assaulting Iraqis. He couldn't wait to publish it. he did not care about the consequences. And this is why they hire someone like this, because the things that you and I would hesitate and probably wouldn't do in the first place, they embrace his tenacity, his fortuitousness. They embrace that. And so this is the guy that you want when you want to do the absolute worst. And he's very good at that. This is why he could say those terrible things about a woman who's in a different country, a woman that's pregnant and feeling more vulnerable than any time than a woman would ever feel. And day after day, himself and many others attacking her, criticizing her, drumming up all of this discontent against her, and dehumanizing her like she's not even a person, like she's not even real. So it's high time that this one has a day in court. Elaine Parker, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex, and happy Thursday to you. And then there is a super chat. I think I saw a super chat somewhere. Okay, I'll come to it soon. The same Pierce Morgan that published fake photos of these Iraq abuse of soldiers, pictures of Iraqis abuse, of soldiers, even though it was obviously fake. That's let me see. Let me pull that down. That guy, I'm sure he's never done anything out of order with the royal family. Okay. So Mirror editor Morgan sacked over fake photos. I think I got two different slides going here. Britain's Daily Mirror editor Piers Morgan was sacked last night as the newspaper board finally accepted that pictures purporting blah, 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 blah were fake. So, yeah, this is one of those things that you wouldn't get just from listening to him because he's so full of himself. But he was fired from that job. He was fired as the editor of the Daily Mirror. Do you know what a low bar it is to work at a place like that? It doesn't take the best education. It doesn't take much experience. I think he was one of the younger people to do that job at the time, maybe. But the thing is, what it was really about is, do you have the nerves, for the lack of a better word, to pull the trigger when necessary? Well, he did. Antoinette Kennedy says, Barron, did you know Hugh Jackman sued Rupert Murdoch and won? He was on The View today. The paper had another name. Okay, so it was News of the World, right? Hugh Jackman had sued the News of the World. I think that was the one. But there are people that sue and they win. It's not like, but see, the little money that they pay out for the loss, they gain a lot, which is why they kept the case against the case that the Meghan had against the Daily Mail. That is why they kept the case going, is because it gave them more room to make more money. And so it's almost worth it for them to keep these cases going. But nobody's pockets are bottomless. And so at a certain point, not only may it cause the newspapers to go broke, to go bankrupt. I mean, I think News of the World has been out of business for a while, right? The other thing that it causes is laws or regulations or oversight, which, who knows how much teeth it actually has. But it can also bring a backlash like that. And it could also lose readers. You could also lose some readers, which they are already going into decline as we speak. So let me find that super chat. I know that there is one somewhere. Oh my goodness, there's a lot of comments. You guys are y'all ain't on that stuff, are you? I mean, y'all all hyped up, and I'm willing to bet there was a squatty playing God Save the Queen the other day. You know, oh, Beverly McCaskill, since you watched it, I don't know if I skipped past your answer or not, but please tell me that you saw that maybe you heard it. If you didn't, that's okay. But I promise you, I'm going to go back and check it out again. But I promise you that somebody blew the note. Hey, Dorothy Ross, thank you so much for being here. Will be open. Will the trial be open to the public? I would be the first in the queue to see some of it happening. Let me see. Oh, him and Lady C. Okay. Okay, Beverly, I don't know if you answered that or not, but it's okay. But I promise you, I just thought it was so strange that this is supposed to be the best of the best of the best to represent the the queen, I'm sorry, the king, and it was everything was just lousy and so haphazard. So it was like someone took bubble gum and duct tape and just stuck the whole thing together. So anyway, Shelly L, thank you so much for the super chat. And I do pray that there are some squatties infiltrating the ranks to make them look pathetic. I do hope so. Hey, Sean, happy Thursday to you. Okay. Wish the squatties, oh, I'm sorry. I wish that the squatties would put it out that Piss Face Morgan never met Madam Duchess. It has been proven just by listening to the docuseries and the timeline in how and where they met. Well, and Beverly McCaskill, I don't know who pointed it out, but someone said that is highly unlikely because Pierce Morgan takes a selfie with everyone. And if there's no selfie, it likely did not happen. And when I thought about that, the only thing I could think of course, and I said that at the time when someone brought that up, is that perhaps Megan was like, "Oh, okay. If by the odd, impossible chance that they really did meet somewhere, Megan probably took a measure of him, I would imagine, and just got in the taxi and deleted it immediately." I mean, that's what you would do with someone like that. You wouldn't want any evidence that you ever met a big hoghead like that. Let me see here. Karen says they also hacked Millie Dollar's phone of missing schoolgirl who had passed away, causing real trauma to the parents. Okay, what Karen is speaking about, and I think I was going to talk about that later, but this is how I understood it. Um, this young girl was missing, and the parents thought there was hope because they realized at a certain point, and I hope I'm right about this, that someone had retrieved the messages from her phone. And that's like, oh, her cell phone is still active. She must be alive. Well, the truth is, she was already gone, but it gave a false hope to her parents that she was still alive at a time when they were probably trying to make their peace with the idea that they would never see their daughter again. I mean, that is just, it was a newspaper, not the police, a newspaper that took it upon themselves to go and retrieve the dead girl's messages, giving a false hope to her parents that she was still alive. That is so cruel. That is so cruel. But that is the extent of what the tabloid papers are capable of, and probably a whole lot more. But that is the stuff that they do. And they think it's okay. It's like a good old boys club. And they don't ever think, they don't believe that there's not a world where they would ever be held accountable for these things, which is absolutely disgusting. It is really, really pathetic. Um, and yeah, I mean, Thomas Markle Sr. is not the sharpest tool in the shed and probably not the nicest person in the world. But imagine someone with his mental capacity and his, you know, state of reasoning being set upon by tabloid newspapers. Sometimes the person to offer a cigarette to. A person to offer lottery tickets or an envelope of cash or however you reel a person in. Some people you can just look at them and say, oh, yeah, this is easy. So um, these newspapers, not some back alley drug dealer or something, but these newspapers were making those same type of connections, making those same type of associations to get the information that they wanted. Okay, let me take a look at this one. Patricia Lane says, yes, Baron. We are hyped up about Pierce Morgan. Will be seen in trial court for who he really is by our Prince Harry. It is time for Pierce Morgan to get a taste of his own nasty two liter messy mess. Thank you, Patricia Lane. Oh man, Shelly L says, as soon as I heard those bad notes, I thought, oh crap, I've got some squatties in the house. Also, you heard it too. It was awful. I'm not telling you guys to go and run and watch it, but I was just shocked. I was just like, this is for the king? I mean, I know I've hit some bad notes in my day, but it's cute when I do it. But at the Commonwealth service, I thought it was just pretty bad. It was pretty tacky. But anyway, thank you so much, Shelly L, for the super chat, and thank you so much again for watching Royal Sussex. And happy Thursday. Okay, and I'm sorry, I didn't do that one yet, did I? Oh, that's what I meant to do. Okay, so Pierce Morgan named in new court docs over theft of Princess Diana's letter. Well, that was back in 2019. The former Daily Mirror editor, Morgan, has been accused over burglary at home of Major James Hewitt. How about that? Now, I don't know the particulars of that case, so I don't know how that worked out. So, but that is just one of the things that has been accused or alleged. And then right here, the insider, the private diaries of scandalous decade, Pierce Morgan, which he was at the Daily Mirror, the Mirror, for a decade. The secret, the stars didn't want you to read Daily Mail. Okay, very small there. And then here, Diana love letter scandal exposed by Mirror. So you see what I mean? It has been systematic. It was the way business was done. It was the way business was done. Betty says, yes, Baron, is Harry. Baroness Doreen Lawrence, etc. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. Doreen, I always forget that name. Doreen Lawrence. Baroness Doreen Lawrence. Doreen. Oh, okay. Thank you. Let me see here. A squatty in the house. Oh man, let me see here. Really? Okay, that's good news. Sorry about that. Just got a little good news message. The pay your bills on time message. That's always a good thing. Took me a lifetime to learn to do that. Brenda Lee says, oh, it's a super sticker. Thank you so much. And thank you for watching Royal Sussex. And happy Thursday to you. I keep forgetting it's Thursday, but thank you so much for that. Okay. Let me go on to the next slide. Oh, Black Queen, got to take this. Black Queen says, so the Gutter Press Sun is reporting that Megan and Jack the Ripper are related. Please tell me that's not today. They have her and him on the front page. These morons have no low. Wasn't it reported that Jack may? Yes, he may have been royal. Are you serious? That is today? Oh my God. Let me go look. Let me go look. Oh my God. Why did you tell me? Okay, Jack the Ripper. Uh oh, okay, okay. That was the 18th, was it? No. Oh, 2018. 2018. Okay, I see that. It was from 2018. A ripping tale. Meghan Markle is related to Jack the Ripper serial killer suspect H. Holmes, who killed victims in Factory of Death Hotel. I think I've seen this before. Wow, that's a good picture of Megan, though. I think I'll save that one. What a good picture. She's pretty. Okay. I think I'll save that. Add that to my collection. Come on, Megan. Okay. H. Holmes. I read about him before. He is considered to be America's first serial killer. Thank you so much. All right, so let me continue here because still got a bit to cover. Okay, lots of people on here want me fired for expressing my opinion on the Pinocchio princess. If you want to join them, there are various petitions still doing the rounds. For the last few times you all tried to and failed to have me fired from for saying what I think. So Hoghead tweeted that on March the 8th, is it 2021? I think it's March the 8th. Or is that the US calendar? So maybe it was August 3rd. All right. Either way, that is what Hoghead said. Well, fast forward to Pierce Morgan setting a land speed record for a mammal on 2 feet when he ran out of the studios of Good Morning Britain. I mean, he launched himself like a Trident II missile toward the door to get out of the studio that day. And the whole time he was in his dressing room, I suppose, fuming and waiting for them to come and say, oh, Pierce, would you please come back out here? We are so sorry. This is absolutely dreadful, Pierce. You're absolutely right, Pierce. Just please come outside and get in front of that camera. Well, the voice was never heard. No one entered his dressing room. As a matter of fact, he was essentially done that day, although he didn't know it. So he thought he was going to do like Kelly Ripa. Remember how she left the show on ABC because Michael Strahan quit and she went pouting off? Well, he thought that he could pull a Kelly Ripa. He thought this, 230 pound, 240 pound hog head man was going to extrapolate the type of sympathy that little petite blonde with the bonded teeth was able to garner from the ABC morning show. Well, it didn't happen. You're not a petite blonde. You're not even pretty. And the only thing that I can give him credit for is moving so fast. Anytime the camera swings and everything blurs behind you, I bet you he didn't know he could move that fast. He literally set a land speed record for exiting a television studio. I'm still waiting to see the Guinness people, print that in their up and coming book. So for exiting a studio, nobody has ever done it faster. So let me see here. It's yeah, ITV snubs to Pierce. Yeah, they snubbed him. Now Pierce thought that he still had a job, and much to his dismay and the shock, he didn't have a job. They didn't want him back. Pierce thought he was so safe there. But as today, the news of today unfolded, I said to myself, he needed that job. He needed that bully pulpit so that he could further um, hide himself behind his audience, that he could do and say the things that he wanted to do and say without anyone calling him out on it, because after all, he's on TV. And the people who would make a case against him, or at least one person, would have an opportunity to be attacked by him constantly. And I guess he thought the momentum of him, um, I guess, trying to save face was going to help him. I don't know. I think that he thought being on television was good enough, and that would save the day. But apparently, it wasn't good enough, and so Pierce Morgan was sacked. He lost his position. They didn't want him back, and then he blamed Megan because Megan wrote a letter to ITV explaining to them how his words compromised her mental well being. And fortunately, people take that serious. People take that serious. Just like when you are doing Royal Sussex and you notice that one of your uh, when you're doing Royal Sussex and you notice that one of your well, let's see, one of your moderators is doing double duty, but it has been explained to me that it's a matter of keeping this a safe space. Now, it has been explained to me that, as a matter of fact, let me say hi while I'm here. Let me see here. I'm going to say hi. Hey, Black Queen. Got you. There you go. There you go. Hey, Black Queen. And then I wait. I wait. Uh, okay. I'm still waiting. All right. So Pierce Morgan accused of bullying in open letters signed by almost 1,200 UK television workers. Right. And so Pierce Morgan claims royal family member thanked him for standing up to Duke and Duchess of Sussex. The former, I love that, the former GMB host says he had some messages communicated to me. Of several members of the royal family. So I could believe that because you know what? Oh, there he is setting that land speed record. Uh, And my favorite, of course, Pierce Morgan rushed to hospital. Remember when he thought people felt sorry for him? And somebody said, "Don't get better soon. I hate you with a passion." Oh, my goodness. Ruth Riles, I don't know who you are, but please let me know if you have a GoFundMe. Please let me know if you are in need of any organs I can donate because I thought that was wonderful. Don't get better soon. Oh, hey, Rohini. Well, I can't be two places at the same time. Oh, man. Well, we got to stop meeting like that. That's for sure. But I do plan to go back to my earlier schedule. Oh, man. I need lip balm. My lip is about to split again. Let me see. That's right, Lydia. There is multitasking going on. I do that myself. Okay. All right. So let me share just a little bit of today's article from okay. The Duke of Sussex is set to appear before Judge M. Timothy Fancourt to give his evidence and face cross examination by lawyers from the Mirror Group newspaper, MGN, as one of the five test cases alleging extensive illegal snooping by the three national tabloids between 1996 and 2011. It covers Morgan's often controversial editorship of the Daily Mirror between 95 and 2004 and his period as the de facto editor in chief of the Sunday Mirror from April of 2001 until his high profile sacking. He was fired for being hoaxed into publishing fake photos of British troops supposedly abusing Iraqi prisoners of war. Justice Fancourt and a preliminary hearing, at a preliminary hearing on the 8th of March, put the Duke's case in a small group among 120 current claimants who would not settle without having come to court and had their trials and said what they want to, having seen the Mirror Group News vacate five previous trial dates by paying out large settlements to on the proverbial steps of the Old Bailey. So they have been settling out of court. For full details of Harry's personal case against MGN at a subsidiary of Reach PLC, the publisher of the Daily Mirror, Sunday and the Daily, Sunday People, have yet to be into public record, but they are understood to claim he was targeted from the age of 12, if not earlier. So with that, let me go over to this because this is oh, by the way, Dorothy Ross, thank you so much for the super sticker and thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. Okay. Let me do this first. Okay. Prince Charles and Camilla hired Daily Mail executive for top post. Yep, that happened last July. And over here, anger mounts over Camilla's lunch attended by Jeremy Clarkson and Piers Morgan. So even in the weakened state that he has been in since he left ITV, there seems to be a lot of. Okay, let me do this one right here. So R.S. Locke said, after not seeing him for a year, the fact that King Charles didn't ask about Harry's family, but did ask about his lawsuit against the press tells you everything you need to know about the royals' priorities. We're not a family, we're a firm. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? The fact that Charles was actually more concerned about Harry's case against the press than about Harry's family. And so, because I know that everyone present has had their chance to go through the spare, uh, Prince Harry's spare, not the spare, but Prince Harry's spare. Okay, this was in the spare. Frogmore Gardens. I think it was page 86, is it? Frogmore Gardens. Hours after Grandpa's funeral, I'd been walking with Willie and Pa for about a half an hour, but it felt like one of those days-long marches the army put on me through. Put me through when I was a new soldier. I was beat. We'd reached an impasse, and we'd reached the Gothic ruins after the circuitous route. We'd arrived back where it began. We've arrived back where it began. Pa and Willie were still claiming not to know why I fled Britain, still claiming not to know anything. And I was getting ready to walk away And then one of them brought up the press. They asked about my hacking lawsuit. They still hadn't asked about Meg, but they were keen to know how my lawsuit was going because that directly affected them. Still ongoing. And then, of course, I'm trying not to say the S word, but it's the S word mission, Pa mumbled. And Harry, Harry said maybe, but it's worth it. I'd soon prove that the press were more than liars. I said that they were lawbreakers. I was going to see some of them thrown into jail. Okay. And then over here, it says that was why they were attacking me so viciously, and they knew I had hard evidence. Oh, he has evidence, you guys. It wasn't about me, it was a matter of public interest. Shaking his head, Pa allowed that journalists were the scum of the earth. He phrased it, but I snorted. There was always a but with him when it came to the press because he hated them, but oh how he loved their love. So he hated them, but he loved to be loved by the press. One could make the argument therein lay the seeds of the whole problem. Indeed, all problems going back a decade, deprived of love as a boy, bullied by schoolmates, he was dangerously, compulsively drawn to the elixir they offered him. He cited Grandpa as a sterling example of why the press wasn't anything to get too vexed about. Poor Grandpa had been abused by the papers for most of his life, but now look, he is a national treasure. The papers couldn't say enough good things about the man. So that's it then. Just wait till we're dead, and then all will be sorted. So Harry essentially is saying, of course, that Charles told him that even though the press beat up on Philip almost his entire life, just wait until you're dead, and then they'll say good things about you. Can you see why Harry was determined to continue this lawsuit? Because if you have to wait until you're dead, what's the point? And of course, no one even speaks of Philip. And when they tried to whip up all this sympathy and everything for him during his funeral, there were people. Do you guys realize that they got some of the biggest complaints at Ofcom, I think it was, because they interrupted their regular programming with Prince Philip's funeral, and people were furious about that. Not the majority of people, but there were thousands of complaints. Why are you interrupting my television show with the funeral of Prince Philip? Most people simply did not care. And then Charles says, if you could just endure, my darling boy, for a little while, in a funny way, they'd respect you for it. I laughed. All I'm saying is, don't take it personally, Charles said. Speaking of taking things personally, I told them I might learn to endure the press. And anyway, that was the end of that page. So Charles was more concerned about the lawsuit than he cared about Megan or the or even his grandkids. He just didn't care. Let me see, Baron. I just felt the wrath of my voodoo on your lips. What? You don't want me to stick the dolls in the eyes or throat? Well, my throat has been scratchy, so I don't know. Have you gotten me already? I have been having a scratchy throat. That's where my reflux is coming from. You got a little doll of me, and you just soaked it in some dairy. I understand. Oh man. Let me see. Beverly McCaskill says that Roy Anika, who wrote the article on the left, was one of the commentators on CW service on BBC that is on YouTube. Really? Huh. Okay. Let me go take another look at that. Oh, the one on the left. Oh, yes, it is Roy Anika. It is Roy Anika. Thank you so much for that. All right. Let me see. When Prince Harry goes to the UK for the court case, they will be writing that he met with his father and brother. Not. So after the Prince Philip's funeral, they went for a walk, and the only thing Charles asked about was the court case. That is very interesting. But like Harry said, because it affects them, they only ask because they know it affects them. Camilla's country life, Jeremy Clarkson recalls sharing a cigarette with the Duchess of Cornwall. And then, of course, the royal family won't condemn the op ed about abusing Meghan. Well, of course, on the one hand, you got the new queen consort sharing a cigarette with, let me see, that was July, so the queen was still alive. And then on the other hand, as late as, is that December 20? Yeah, December 20th, 2022. Absolutely nothing about the op-ed or even the fact. I mean, they didn't speak up for Meghan. They did not speak up for Meghan. They did not speak up for the son of the future king, or actually he was king by then, right? Or the, whatever she is to Meghan. They didn't speak up for her. They didn't care. They weren't interested and they didn't care. And then, of course, there was Christmas. So by Christmas, Camilla's very glamorous private party, Dame Judi Dench, Piers Morgan, Claudia Winkleman, and Jeremy Clarkson joined Queen Consort at star-studded Mayfair lunch as she proves Meghan isn't the only royal with pulling power. So a bunch of pensioners gathered for lunch with the Queen Consort. Yeah, she is as relevant and as hip as they come. As a matter of fact, did I just see Lady Gaga in the background? did I see what's his name? Did I see what's his name? Robbie, whatever his name is in the background. I don't see any of those people. I don't see Adele in the background. Do you? Yeah, just a bunch of pensioners out for lunch, trying to get the senior special. Sodium-free bacon, decaf coffee, and a chest X-ray. Okay, so over here, that's the senior special: sodium-free bacon, decaf coffee, and a chest X-ray. So after that, then I guess they were done. So Piers Morgan claims, okay, we already did that one. Oh, and what's the other one? Piers Morgan claims royal family member thanked him for standing. Okay, that one. Thank Meghan Markle. All right, very cool. All right, and so over here, Piers Morgan book sells 5,650 copies in a year in U.S. And then, of course, Spare. I would tell you how many books Spare has sold, but it's still selling. So I'll come back to that. But I believe it was 1 million copies since January. The last time I looked, it was exactly over 1 million. Print, electronic, and otherwise. So there you go. 1 million in like a month compared to 5,650 copies in a year. What a fan base he must have. What a fan base Piers Morgan has. Relevant Piers Morgan. And of course, but he does have some friends in low places. He has Murdoch, of course, and then Jeremy Clarkson. Yeah. Piers Morgan compares himself to Nelson Mandela. Who can forget that back in April of 2022? TV presenter says his battle for free speech is similar to the ex-South African leader's struggle against apartheid. Now, if this was anybody else, or if this was someone so-called woke or on the left, we would have never heard the end of it, right? I once asked Rupert Murdoch why he was so opposed to the European Union. That's easy, he replied. When I go into Downing Street, they do what I say. When I go to Brussels, they take no notice. Now, to be fair to Rupert Murdoch claims that he never said that. He said he never said that. As a matter of fact, he wrote a letter protesting that. Here he says, on a number of occasions, now your paper, on a number of occasions, now your paper has quoted me as saying, when I go into, let me pull that down. When I go into Downing Street, they do what I say. When I go to Brussels, they take no notice, right? There is much fake news published about me, but let me make clear that I have never uttered those words. I have made it a principle of my life never to ask for anything from any prime minister, Rupert Murdoch. So believe that if you want to, but that was his response to that. So you guys, oh my goodness, when is the case? Is it later this month? Anyway, Harry is going to be in the witness box. So I don't think it's going to be an electronic thing. I think he's going to be at the Old Bailey, and this is going to be huge. And of course, the very toothless American media should take it up. So a few of Piers Morgan's fans are going to show up for sure, especially the one who saw a hog and hugged it. I'm sure that guy will be there. So that's at least one that we know of. He's going to have at least one fan that's going to reach around that fat, scruffy neck of his and embrace him throughout this court case. Piers Morgan vows his media return will be very unpleasant surprise for Meghan Markle. Well, this is, when was that? That was back in September of 2022. Back in September, still trying to be relevant. And then, of course, there was a byline article about Piers Morgan speaking about all of these things in detail, which I recommend you check it out. Piers Morgan claims okay, I did that one already. I can only thank the American people for taking Miss Markle back. The former king married an American divorcee too. Anti-American British snobs. Oh, yes, I remember that. Actually, that didn't have to do only with Piers Morgan, but I threw that other one in there. I think I was building a case for the New York Times. Piers Morgan accused of bullying in an open letter signed. Did that one. So to see her smiling through the open window of a car, making sure she's seen without any contrition whatsoever, just shows what a brazen hussy she is. Royal biographer Tom Bauer isn't impressed with Meghan's appearance in the Jubilee celebration. And who hosted him? Piers Morgan. Piers Morgan. This explains why Piers Morgan has been so determined to keep the Sussex's name in his mouth, in particular, Meghan. There you go. Steve Schmidt had called him a bully. If you guys remember Steve Schmidt, the American journalist, betrayal is at the core of Harry and Meghan's story, but their betrayals belong to the royal family who wouldn't defend him, as well as the grotesque Thomas Markle, Meghan's father, who sold his daughter out for 30 pieces of silver to the British press. Steve Schmidt, I could kiss your bald head. Let me see here. The British media and royal correspondents are in the access business. The royal family and British media are codependent institutions. That is Harry and Meghan's fundamental point. They always draw the low card in the shuffle. Uh, by the way, the palace and British press. Is that by the way? Or, oh well. Um, Perhaps it's best to begin with let me take that out the way. Comparison of the character between the two men who have both been under fire. The first man responded like this. Oh, you know what? I cut that tweet off, didn't I? But yeah, so Steve Schmidt wrote an article about Pierce Morgan's bullying of Meghan. So, Hoghead, your day is coming. Your day is coming very soon. And maybe this is just the beginning because remember, there are other people who were affected by the mirror. Not, is it the mirror? Was it? Yeah, the mirror. There are other people that were affected by the mirror when that is, while Pierce Morgan was there. So look forward to that. Now, you guys, I am going to move on to a couple of other subjects. And you know what? I think we're going to get out of here early today. Now, there was some criticism about the photo on the left because 52-year-old model Naomi Campbell posed for that photo. I had to crop the bottom of it for the sake of her modesty. I had to crop the bottom of it. I mean, you couldn't see anything, but still. Okay, it is a bit overly airbrushed, but even without the airbrushing, I think she looks absolutely gorgeous and totally unnecessary to do such rigorous airbrushing. But let me just say, in defense of the model, often it is the photographer and the magazines or whatever that chooses to do that, not the model themselves, because they're going to get paid anyway. So there's always some amount of airbrushing. Lydia Washington says Barron has a court case. It's just 3 days after the coronation. Oh, that's right. Just 3 days after the coronation. How could I forget that? Because they'll be over there. Thank you. Likely the Sussexes will attend. Yes, that's right. I couldn't remember that for nothing, and you just jarred my memory. They were saying that the court case will be near the coronation. Thank you for saving me. I couldn't remember that, but you're absolutely right. Piss Morgan, as well as yet okay after the others. This propagandist throw away derogatory comments in the media sphere to intimidate using fear tactics. Well, yeah, that's why he needs to stay on television, because if he's quiet somewhere, his relevancy is going to subside and he would be that much more vulnerable. At least that's what he thinks. But Harry has evidence, and I'm sure that other people have evidence. So whatever Pierce Morgan thinks his get out of jail free card is, it's not going to work. I don't know if he's going to go to jail, but I know he's in trouble. I know that financially himself and the newspapers are going to be in trouble because Harry is on a mission. And that's what it scares Charles, because if you're Charles and your survival is dependent on the aid and assistance of the tabloid newspapers, um, if Harry and all the others hit them in the pockets hard enough, if their credibility is diminished by these court cases, then eventually they're going to lose more readers, more subscribers, and of course, there's an aging population that is dying out of royalists that follow and listen to their every word. It's amazing that they have gotten away with it for so long. But I guess this is that moment when everything is going to be called into account. So um, change is coming, and it's coming up very fast too. Thank you for your comment. Sharon Marcia Lawrence Hunter says, this one got me baffled by keeping shouting at not my king. I don't see one side out there, and no one is shouting not my queen. If they take one down and not the other, they both did not have mercy on Diana. Well, Sharon, the not my king is really a anti-monarchy movement. And so since Charles is the head, they're targeting him. So I don't know that the people in the group have as much sentimentality for Diana and are so angry at him because of Diana. But on principle, supposedly they just don't want an unelected head of state. So that particular movement is not a movement for revenge for Diana. It is simply about ridding the country of the monarchy. And so Camilla is not in a position of authority. Her authority comes from her husband. And without her husband, then there is no monarchy. Essentially, there is no monarchy. If they have their way, William is not going to step in and take its place. Camilla is not eligible to step up. So Camilla is not important where they're concerned. It's the monarchy itself. So that's why there's no signs about Camilla. Now, eventually, there may be someone who is, uh, familiar with Diana, loves Diana, that may make a sign of their own, but that person will not be a part of that movement in all likelihood. So that is why there are no signs against Camilla. It's not to say that that won't happen. Tao, thank you so much for the super sticker, for the super sticker. And thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. And happy Thursday to you. Greatly appreciate it. Okay. Let me check out. You get 2 bells. Let me check out any more comments about this. Coronation Day, we play candles in the wind on the loop. Joan Commonwealther, I remember, get your photos of Diana ready for the social media. I think we need to flood it. Let me see. Okay, they airbrushed Naomi and brightened her up like it's best to be more wide line. Well, I mean, okay, the these kind of photos, they always take license with it. So as you can see, her jaw has been narrowed, um, which makes her chin look longer. Her nose is a bit smaller, right? And then what else? They took away the lines around her armpits, right? So they've done some things. There's no lines in her neck anymore. They were very aggressive with the airbrushing. But you guys, I've seen a photo. Let me see if I could share that with you guys. Because I get the thing about lightening up a person, but also the lighting that they use on these photo shoots can also affect the way a person looks. So, what foundation are they wearing and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of reasons. But yes, in that photo, it does appear that they lightened up her skin for whatever reason. So I will say, yes, I agree that that did happen. Let me see here. Okay, I got an excellent example of just what we're talking about now. All right, let me see if I can bring that photo up. Sometimes after I've been on for a while, I can't bring up another slide, but I'm going to try. Gosh, I wish I would have had this ready. Huh, doesn't look like it's going to let me do it. Let me try one more time. See if, oh, let me try this other way. But I'm going to see if I can bring that up, and if I can, I will share it. Let me get rid of this one maybe. And I'll see if I can bring up one more, and if I can, then I will share it with you. All right, so check it out. This is Joan Crawford. A lot of people don't know this, but Joan Crawford had freckles like you wouldn't believe. She was freckled. And as you can see, with some very primitive airbrushing, they removed all the freckles. They took the two pronounced lines from her neck. They reduced her clavicles. What else? Yeah, and the line around, the very noticeable line on the side of her mouth is gone. All of those things happen. So there's nothing new about that. And of course, they made the photo brighter. So is it really? I mean, they didn't try to make her look like she was. Oh, I'm sorry. They didn't try to make. Where the heck is it? Oh, there it is. They didn't try to make her look like she was another race. So that's all. I'm not gonna try to persuade anybody to think otherwise, but that is what happened. But this is supposed to have been like, I don't like that they airbrushed her, because I think she's beautiful just the way that she is. I think that if most 52-year-old women looked that youthful at age 52, they wouldn't bother with such things. But I think she was being blamed for it when it was most likely the photographer. So there you are. But anyway, that's just what I wanted to share with you guys. What's that? Oh, that was for Lydia. Huh? No, I don't want to fool with that one. I'm gonna leave that one alone. I think somebody else is talking about that. I'll leave it to them. Okay, let me see. Beverly McCaskill says, I do believe that Prince Harry is going for the throat. He will try to put piss face on the streets. His family better get their money together and find somewhere to live. Maybe they can have Frogmore. Let me see here. And a lawyer strategy is to leave their most influential and powerful witness until last. So if the trial is 7 weeks after preliminary hearings and the other witnesses, preliminary hears the other witnesses, Harry may not testify until April. Okay. Okay. Let me see here. But the coronation is in May. So, all right. Yeah, court date is 2 days after the coronation. That's why Willie and Pops take Frogmore Cottage back. So they have to stay at Palace and keep tabs on them. Ooh, Sharon, you have been doing your homework. That is clever. Thank you for sharing that. That is clever. Okay, so nothing else about this. Let's move on. All right, you guys, what do you think about this? Because I kept seeing this video popping up, and I didn't know what to make of it. So Zendaya's image architect, Law Roach, finally breaks his silence to deny that the star forced him to, let me see, let me pull that down, uh, forced his shocked resignation after video emerged of her rudely, they claim, rudely, relegating him to the second row at the Louis Vuitton fashion show in Paris. Zendaya, 26, was filmed taking her place on the front row. Well, if it's her place, it's her place. After Fashion Week, before ushering Roach to an empty chair uh, behind her. Okay, so I saw this video and I figured that they assumed that there was some type of shade going on, but she walked in and she walked ahead of him, and then she saw the person in the blue pinstripe suit, in the blue pinstripe suit, and she plopped down next to the person. She was very excited to see that person. And oh, okay, you meant June. Thank you so much. You meant to say June. All right, got it. And so they did not show the entire clip. They showed up to the point when Zendaya turned around and pointed to the seat behind her. Now, Zendaya sat down. This is all I saw. I don't have the video, but she sat down and then she looked up at him and I guess she said, "Do you want to sit in the seat behind me?" Well, it seemed like they got there later than everyone else. Um, so I don't know. It seemed like they got there later than everybody else. And when Law walked in, they stood at where they're standing and looking at Zendaya. And so I don't know what happened after that. That's when the video cuts. I promise you, it may only be like maybe 5 or 10 seconds long. So it's not enough context to know exactly what happened. But it's kind of like that thing when what's her name, when they went to the Caribbean and that politician that was Miss Barbados, when they tried to say that, or was she Miss Barbados, when they tried to say that she was rude to Kate, but they had actually spliced the video. Well, the same thing here is they cut off the video and you can't see what happens after that. Baron Zendaya was escorted to her seat by someone. I believe those seats are assigned. Well, even, you know what, Mad World, that's what I assume, because let's just face it, Zendaya is one of the biggest things in the fashion world. Fashion meets acting or Hollywood. She's very big. And so I would not expect that Zendaya would have walked in and they would have said, "Oh, there's your seat back there." I wouldn't assume that. I would assume that with assigned seating that she was supposed to sit up front. Maybe, just maybe, they were not even supposed to sit together. And it seemed like when she turned to sit down, it was like, "Oh, hey." And then she took a seat. Like who knows what happened or what was said before that about the seating assignments. But I just thought, oh boy, now they're after Zendaya to try to create, just like they did with Angela Bassett, where they tried to say that she was a sore loser. So here Zendaya was supposed to have been rude to, I don't know this Law Roach, but was being rude to Law Roach. Well, Law Roach came out and denied that there was anything to it, and that is not why I resigned. Zendaya is Louis Vuitton ambassador, however. Her stylist, he's her stylist, so she felt disrespected. It had nothing to do with Zendaya. So I don't know. I don't know enough about that situation. But I was curious as to why I kept seeing this pop up. I didn't read any of the comments that followed it. I thought they were just like, oh, check out Zendaya's outfit. So I'm like, oh, yeah, she does look nice. Right. She's hot. And so I left it alone. But I didn't know that there was supposed to be like some big to do about who sat where. So, Jamaican. Okay. Jamaican politician, former Miss Jamaica. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah. They tried to make a big stink about that. So, okay. Angry black woman. Where did they ever get that thing? Oh man. So I'm just asking it Roach what is it, Law Roach? That is a guy, right? Or is that a girl? I don't know. I never seen them before, so I don't know. I just this is like my first time seeing them is with Zendaya. Yes, what's his name? I forget the kid's name, but yeah, they are dating. Really? Okay. Okay. Banned, huh? Okay. All right. So I'm gonna move on. Um, anyway, I thought this might just be much to do about nothing. Okay, William says Diana would be disappointed at the level of homelessness. Okay, well, you got five houses, solve it. Uh, well, William ain't said nothing about homelessness since his birthday last year. Now, all of a sudden, because of Earth Flop, among other things, because he might be king in the next 10, 15, 20 years, he has decided all of a sudden he has to do something about the homeless situation. Well, of course, he can't really do anything political because they're not allowed to be political. But of course, the other thing is perhaps he misses his friend because, after all, Prince William reminds us that he once slept rough with a black man. Um, that should prove that he's not a racist. So, if you had actually slept rough with a black man, then obviously you're not racist. And of course, you do care about homelessness. Okay, I'm just going to say William may have some very interesting thoughts about homelessness, and perhaps he cares about homelessness. Whether or not he's going to do anything, that's another question. So, are you going to try to claim Africa for yourself? Are you going to try to claim the environment for yourself? Are you also going to run the Duchy of Cornwall by yourself? And are you going to heads together? Um, and a few other things he got going on. He doesn't do one thing well. How is he going to do all those things? If I was William, I would just go and throw myself into the Duchy of Cornwall and stop thinking about that other stuff. You are not a multitasker, sir. In other words, you're not Harry. Okay, so your vice president was on the Stephen Colbert show. I don't have anything else to share except for these back, what is it, the back of the studio photo that they took there in the green room or whatever. And then, of course, there's the photo that they took in front of Stephen Colbert's famous desk. But other than that, I have nothing else to share but to say that our vice president looks absolutely gorgeous. And Stephen Colbert gave another great interview, or actually maintained a great interview. So, and with that, you guys, I wanted to share this with you. Do you guys, this is that photo I was looking for earlier. Do you guys remember the other day when they said, "Hey, Auntie, we love you"? Well, I just found this from Angela Bassett's Instagram. I love, 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 love. Thank you, Sharon Jones, backstage. Love, 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 love this. So There you go. Thought I'd share it with you. Picture of Auntie with her nephews because they love Auntie and Auntie loves them so. Very, very sweet. I love that. I'm trying to see if I can find a photo of them up on the stage. I know I have it here, but let me see if I can find it. Or maybe I don't. That would have been Monday, right? Yeah, that would have been Monday. So let me see. Anyway, you guys, I'm done. So I will see you guys tomorrow. If you got things to do, go ahead. I'm just gonna take a little second here to find the photos of them from the other day, but I don't want to keep you guys from anything. So um, do you, boo? Do you? Oh man, and I am not finding it. That is so weird. Nope, that's not it. Wait a minute. I went right back to the same thing again. So let me see. Sunday was, I mean, are y'all really going to stick around for this? Sunday was the 12th. And so we talked about it Monday. I promise you, I think it's the 14th. Let me see. Did I go past it? Did y'all see that Marilyn Monroe moment that the Queen Consort almost had? I nearly vomited inside of my own mouth. Okay, you guys, I'm not seeing it. I don't know what day it is. But let it suffice to say, hey, Auntie, we love you. So that was the 14th. Look at that again. I could do this all day, you know that. Okay, so Monday was the good luck getting out of here early. Monday was the 12th. No, Monday was the 13th. And we talked about that on the 13th, right? I think it's the 13th. Let me try the 13th. Fatima Owen, thank you so much for being here. Thank all of you all, as a matter of fact. Greatly appreciate it. Always. You know, I thought it would be right there, so that's why I didn't go through all that trouble. But I could see that I figured wrong. This is more work than I thought. Oh, there it is. There it is. So that's Angela from Sunday. And that is the infamous moment. And there they are, Michael B. Jordan and Jonathan Majors. And so there you go. How sweet. Now that was worth the wait, wasn't it? I love it. I love it. They're taking care of Auntie. And of course, looking at how well put together she is, I'm like saying to myself, that's somebody's Auntie. She looks so fit. Okay. All right, you guys. Thank you. And I can't believe we're done. Okay, one more hour. I'm just kidding. All right. So with that, you guys, I am going to bid you all a fond farewell. And let us not forget our queens, our people's princess, and let's not forget Queen of Hearts and our queen of everything, our very hip mother-in-law, mom, grandmother, Doria. All right, and with that, I'm going to look for your last words. And okay. Let me see. Yes, Diana would be disappointed with the homelessness, but does William care at all? He needs to just sit his behind down. You're right about that. Thank you, Marjorie. Let me see. Oh, wait a minute. Did you guys figure out something I said earlier? I knew that line sounded familiar. Who just outed me? Because I had stole a joke from the Golden Girls. Did somebody figure that out? Let me see. Was it you, Mad World? Let me see. Oh, you didn't figure out that line. Okay. You didn't figure it out. Okay. Good. I thought you had figured out that line that I stole from the Golden Girls earlier. I'll tell you what it is, though. Okay. Good night, Connie Ballmer. Okay. Picture it. The Golden Girls, 1980 something. So, veteran actress, oh gosh, what was her name? Veteran actress. Oh my goodness, I can't remember her name. And they had her play Sophia's sister. Oh gosh, what was her name? Didn't she play Rhoda's mother? Oh my goodness. What is her name? She played Sophia's sister. Somebody help me out. She played Sophia's sister. Anybody? So anyway, Sophia usually had the funniest lines on the show. Well, this particular day, they let the other actress have the funniest lines. And so she had went out, and then she comes back home to, the Golden Girls house. And they say, where you been? Nancy Walker. Thank you, Shelley L. Nancy Walker. That's her name. So Nancy Walker said, well, I just left the senior center. She said, I got the early birds. No, she said, I got the early. Yeah, I think she said the early bird special. Sodium-free bacon, decaf coffee, and the chest x-ray. So that is where I got that from. I got that from the Golden Girls. Nancy Walker said that when she walked into the room. She was so funny. I mean, she could really deliver a line. So, yeah. Anything interesting? Well, I got the early bird special, sodium-free bacon, decaf coffee, and the chest x-ray. Well, what senior does not want that first thing in the morning, right? Right. Okay. And I think the chest x-ray, that was for the check for tuberculosis, I think. All right, you guys, thank you so much. That very tired that very tired joke probably wasn't worth waiting for, but every time I hear it, it just floors me. Not at all. Not at all. I was in another zone yesterday. I enjoyed the ending yesterday, but we're not going to do that today. So, okay, very good. Love you guys. I will see you all tomorrow. And remember, the last word of the day was the senior special: sodium-free bacon, decaf coffee, and a chest x-ray is what every senior citizen deserves. As a matter of fact, tell Macron of France not to raise the age of retirement and to ensure that every senior in France receives the early bird special. And what is it? Okay, that's exactly what it is. So that's our last word for the day. Thank you, and I will see you all tomorrow. And as always, we are going to end with the Ginger Avenger. Love you guys. Y'all can hear my squeaky chair. I tell you, if I was sitting on you, you would squeak too. Um, every time I lift my pinky, this chair's like, oh man. Yeah, this chair is screaming out in agony. Get your old lumpy behind up off of me. Move. I can't help it. I got to throw this behind somewhere. Okay, good night, everyone. And oh, thank you so much for that, Ingrid Soers. Sleep well, everyone in the world. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Okay, ending broadcast, and I will see you all tomorrow. Tomorrow.